Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Napoleon Total, and today we are back with another Enlisted video, and today we're going to be talking about the Scorching Rays. In my last video, I went over briefly the update for the Scorching Rays, what it contains, and what it is good at. In today's video, we're going to do the complete opposite and discuss the problems, in which there are a lot. For starters, we're not even going to be talking about the Tunisia map, because the Tunisia map itself is already subjective in the sense that it is made to essentially make Tunisia better in terms of the balancing. So we're not really going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about the weapons. For example, the M1921 AC was used to be an American weapon that was given to events and Battle Pass. Now it's a weapon that is essentially a free tech tree, which is kind of a slap in the face to people who actually paid for this weapon. Now it's free. This and the fact that this weapon is nothing new, considering this is just another Thompson, is already telling us a lot about this situation. Moving on, we have the Kawaguchi shotgun for the Japanese, which is not the worst weapon in terms of new shotguns, but it is practically useless against SMGs. Now, a lot of people would say, why don't you just straight upright use an SMG, and sometimes shotguns are more useful, but in my personal opinion, shotguns are pretty much useless unless it's the Browning Auto 5, and of course we do have two new weapons. These are the SVT-40 AG, which is literally an SVT-40, and the Type 100 SMG with a bipod. The only issue for this is the fact that both of them are premiums, and both of them you literally have to buy via the shop, with the exception of the Type 100 SMG with a bipod, because that thing is essentially like a BR2 weapon for the Japanese that you can buy for gold, which is once again not the best situation if you really think about it, because most of these weapons, the new weapons that we have, are essentially locked behind a paywall, and especially the new weapons that are actually pretty interesting. And this is not even to mention the fact that as of right now, we almost have the same amount of premium weapons or vehicles that are coming in this update than regular tech tree weapons, which should tell you something. And this is the most interesting part. These tech tree weapons and these premium weapons are pretty much the same that we have already in game. For example, the Type 100 SMG with a bipod is essentially a Type 100 SMG with a bipod and a bayonet, in which we already have in game. And of course, the SVT-40 AG is already the one that we already have in game, with the fact that you can use automatic mortars, which is pretty dang cool. And on to the vehicle section, we have the IS-1. Yes, you heard me correct, an IS-1 with a new camo, and they wanted to put it for gold, which instantly is going to make a lot of people unhappy, mainly because of the fact that this vehicle is around $49 if you consider this with the Tiger West, which is not really new, let's say. On the other hand, you do have American tech tree weapons such as the Churchill Mark 7, which is new, the Chinyu 2 for the Japanese, which is technically new, and the Key 83, which is new. This, in the grand scheme of things, essentially means that the new weapons that we already have in game are limited but not included to the Kawaguchi shotgun, the Churchill number 7, the Chinyu 2, and the Key 83, of which the Chinyu 2 and the Churchill 7 should be already in game, except for the fact that Enlisted is taking their wonderful time and delaying until we finally got this weapon. Overall, in my opinion, the new weapons in which we already have are weapons that we should have gotten either a long time ago, or just slight changes of the already existing weapons, in which a lot of people are not interested in getting. Because let's be honest, the Key 83 is worse compared to some of the propeller planes that we have in game, and of course the SVT-40 is a pretty good squad, except for the SVT-40 is already in game, and the Type 100 bipod is for the Japanese a pretty good squad once again, but other weapons such as the Kawaguchi shotgun are completely either useless, the M1921 AC are either feeling like a scam, or in my personal opinion, weapons that should have been added already in game for free. And of course you have weapons like the Churchill Mark 7, which once again should have already been in game, and even if it's in game right now, I don't think a lot of people are going to use it. This with the Chinyu 2 is pretty much the exact same thing, and we already talked about the Key 83. So that's that. Of course, we're not even talking about the issues regarding the graphics, which have been slightly changed. My personal opinion is that besides the new weapons, which is essentially like a slap in the face, the weapons that we already have in game are either much better, or do the exact same job, or perform much better in general. The weapons that we are getting are either completely useless with the exception of the M1921 AC. On the other hand, this is much akin to a graphics update because Tunisia has been updated. I would also want to talk about the issue regarding the Scorching Rays update. If you look at the Scorching Rays update and you see the first comment, it says, quote, Please keep the game alive. Do not abandon it in favor of active meta. Enlisted still has thousands of players, lots of potential, which they are not wrong. There's also much World War II content you can add to the game. Eventually, after 2 or 3 years, you can introduce the Cold War conflicts to Enlisted. This is, of course, the first comment, in which I responded by saying I agree, of course. But what a lot of people are going to be a little bit scared about is the active matter situation, in which I think I'll have to do another video regarding the active matter situation, mainly because it's a question mark on our heads. According to Enlisted officially, active matter and Enlisted is 2 separate games. Unofficially, they're somewhat treating Enlisted like the ugly child, or to be exact, they're using active matter to, well, essentially get more cash, it seems like, and throwing pretty much Enlisted under the bus. For example, the War Thunder update has so much more stuff, and I'm just talking about World War II alone. You already had the Ram 1, the Norwegian and British Mosquitoes, the BF-109T2, which is on par of what we already have in terms of the vehicles and almost the weapons, if you added them together. And of course, I am not even counting the weapons in which they get for the Cold War, Modern Era, and a lot of other stuff. Because at this point, it seems like Enlisted is either the ugly child or the child not they forgot, which is sad because, once again, Enlisted is War Thunder plus Infantry, but if you really want to add the Infantry in War Thunder, oh my god, it's going to be so complicated because War Thunder is interesting, Enlisted is fun. And I hope Enlisted does not forget that. So without further ado, this is all it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.